Sanibonani babukeleni, welcome to this week's exciting edition of your favorite program, Yilungelo Lakho, It's Your Rights. Sizakuni bukhoma la mamba phambili SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Lolu kembukeli uyazi uhlelo olulethela izindaba izexwayiso kanye nako konke okuthinta wena namalungelo akho njengomthengi. Lona ke umajali uAlisha Unhlanhla mawufuna ukungibiza kamagama ami. Mbukele esikhatheni esinzima sokusebenza ungayithola ukuthi uzovuka kusasa ungesenawo umsebenzi njengoba phela isimo somnotho kanye nezempilo sithanda ukushintsha la in the country. So yikho ke abantu sebedecide ukuthi bathatha ama income protection covers ukuze bakwazi phela ukuthi ngalelo langa elizofika ukuthi uyithole wena ungasakwazi ukuthi uvuke emsebenzini ukwazi ukuthi ube naleyo cover ezokhokhela izikweletu zakho. Ngaphambi kokuthi siqhubeke ngohlelo ake sizwe nangumbiko.
Ubhubhane we-COVID uze nododobalo lwezoqoqosho, ukuwa kwamashishini kwanelahleko ngqesho kubantu abaninzi. Konke oku kubonise mhlophe ukuba akukho nto isisigxina ebomini ingakumbi ithemba lokusebenza unomphelo. Kuba kwimeko ngemeko ezidala ukuba nabani na azibone sengakwazi ukusebenza. Kungoko ke abaninzi bequla kwangethuba belungiselela lo mhla nezo meko zokumelana nobunzima bokungakwazi ukusebenza. Kungoko ke sekuya ngokusabala kwe-income protection cover ezithembisa ngokuhlawula nyanga nenyanga ukuba umuntu akakwazi ukuziphilisa nosapho lwakhe okwethuba elisikiweyo.
Some of the terms and conditions, for example, where we are covering you for in case you cannot earn an income because you're sick, one of the things we look at is underwriting. So we make sure at the time you're taking it out, awuguli, because obviously then it's clear who's a claimer. Also, if it covers you for retrenchment, then we need to make sure that you are employed at the time. And very often we also check to see perhaps you're not already aware ukuthi sibaza ngixoxe emsebenzini.
Kule minyaka igqithileyo kwenziwe uhlengahlengiso kwiipolisi ezikumila kunjena njengoko iinkampani ze-insurance besenza ilahleko. Kungoku nje kwezinye iinkampani ze-insurance umthengi akakwazi ukuzithatha ezi policies zizimele geqe.
Most of them they were problematic because ama claims wakhona they were very high, kune fraud eningi. So ama insurance companies abona ukuthi it's not wise ukuthi benze salary protection cover a standalone. It's better ukuthi by attach as part of a bigger package insurance. Kune difference, for an example, ku credit life policy yona iyakuovele ama equality zakho. But if it's a pure income protection, then izakuwe as umholo, and it can be up to 100% umholo wakho or less.
Uyavumeleka ukuba uthathe ezibeliqele ezi-income protection policy kodwa zingeqi umvuzo ufumana ngenyanga. Uhlatshwayo yabalumkisa abathengi ngalomkhwa ngelithi ungakhokhelela ekubeni i-insurance ingahlawuli ibango lomthengi xa kufike lo xesha.
The purpose of insurance is to put you back in the same situation you would have been had the event not happened. So you've been taking out more than you're earning at the moment, then you are enriching yourself. You're not taking it back to the 20,000 yakho, and it creates an incentive ye fraud.
Ingabe ezi-insurance zibanceda kangakanani abathengi? Nobathembu Zansi, Yilungelo Lakho.
Masibonga kakhulu ke kusisi Nobathembu ngalo mbiko asididiyele wona. Mbukeli manje ke let's welcome our guest phela ukuthi sikhulume kabanzi nge-income protection cover. I'm sure abantu abaningi beningazi nokuthi there is such a thing called income protection cover. Cover isalary yakho ukuthi wena mangabe uyagula or kwenzakalani or awusakhona ukusebenza bakhona ukuthi baqhubeke nezikweleti zakho. Okay, let's welcome our guest today. We do have Gcina Betela ovela kwi-Absa Life. Sibe nayo nobhuti uTom Mchunu yena ke omele Afrimed Wealth. He's the founder. Sinaye from our Cape Town studios Yvonne Barnard-Theron yena ke ubuye obviously Ombudsman for long-term insurance yena ke usjoiner from Cape Town. Gentlemen, sanibonani, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Alicia.
Kunjani Gcina? Ngiyaphila Gcina. Welcome to the show. Ositshele kabanzi nje. I mean, looking at the insert and also what I've said, it seems like abantu, I wish we would have had vox pops, but it would seem that a lot of people are not aware ukuthi khona into ebizwa income protection cover. Yini le income protection cover Gcina?
So income protection cover i-insurance oyithathayo ezakunceda xa uphelelwe ngumsebenzi okanye xa ungakwazi usebenza. So into yenzayo ibhatala lamrholo umfumana emsebenzini wakho, and uba uyithathe changwa imali uyiboleke ebhankini, leyo into esiyazi uba i-credit life izawubhatala izi-installments zakho. I-period ke yenza yona ibhalwe kwi-contract and uya-agreeya ne-insurer uba izawubhatala for ixesha elingakanani, but yona incedisa kuloo nto. And sibonile kwixesha le-COVID i-need yale cover and incedo elinika abantu xa bengakwazi usebenza.
Okay. And then when Tom, I mean, mobuka, is it a good thing to have njengoba ugcina ukuthi, I mean, sibonile nge-COVID abantu abaningi balahlekelwe umsebenzi, a lot of people lost their jobs, abantu couldn't work precisely for various reasons. But I mean, how does it apply? Let's talk about it. Is it a good thing to have? Who is actually eligible ukuthi abe nayo? Ubani umuntu ongayithatha lelo khuzana le income cover?
Hi, Alicia. Thank you for having me. So, Alicia, with regards to income protection, I think we shouldn't confuse the two.
Yeah.
Income protection, retrenchment protector.
Okay.
Income protection covers you if you're unable to go to work due to a sickness. Ngizozama. Okay. So, income protection cover if hawazi ukusebenza ngoba mhlawumbe uyagula or you are in an accident.
Okay.
And that's income protection. It's meant to cover umkholo wakho. You know, and it can be taken as a standalone benefit. Most insurers offer it. What's important to note in the income protection is that akhona waiting periods. So khona enye 87 days. So if when I was ukusebenza for more than 7 days, the insurance company bazokhokhela for all of those days that you're sitting at home.
Okay.
There are those also that cover you for a 1 month waiting period or even 3 months. It depends on the risk of the job that you do.
Okay.
So different risk or occupations carry different risks. I'll give you an example, a guy who dives deep sea. Some companies, the last time when I checked, don't cover income protection for those specific. You know, so it's important to understand income protection and retrenchment as two totally different products sold, because income protection covers your salary should you be unable to work, and it will pay you right up until a certain age, let's say 65 or 70. Retrenchment protector pays your salary, but for 6 months. And there are requirements that need to be met. The first one is that you must be working for more than 2 years within that job, and the policy itself must be enforced for at least more than 6 months in order for you to qualify for a claim. However, more importantly, if you know about your company restructuring or retrenching, you sort of are not allowed to have the benefit because you knew about the retrenchment that would be coming up.
Yeah, very interesting. Yvonne, maybe you can shed some light there that in the event that you're going to, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, in the event that you're going to be retrenched, it apparently does not apply. But is that a legal thing though, Yvonne?
It is. It is how insurance companies hedge their risk. I mean, the entire point of insurance is to cover you should a risk manifest. But if you know that the risk is going to happen, you know that you're going to be retrenched, you can kind of manipulate it. So that waiting period that would usually be for 3 months, especially with credit life insurance. So within the first 3 months, you know, that you're going to be retrenched and you knew about it, it wouldn't necessarily pay out. But again, it depends on the policy. You might find some policies that have more exclusions than others would. There's a number of exclusions that they would take into consideration depending on whether it's credit life or whether it's income protector. We call them disability cover, just to make a very big distinction between the two.
Okay. All right, but this is very interesting. Uguti, if in a case la unga retrenchwa khona, then cover doesn't apply. But isn't that the time la uzodinga khona uguti ulokhuze ube ne income cover? Because I mean, looking for a job, particularly now in South Africa, siyazi ukuthi imsebenzi ayitholakali. You cannot guarantee isikhathi that you're not going to be at a workplace. So isebenza kanjani? Then what's the point of having it if ngizo retrenchwa and I can't have protection?
I think it depends on imeko ye-retrenchment. Uyayazi ukuba uzoretrenchwa, awunakwazi uyithathe le cover.
Okay.
Kodwa if emsebenzini wakho uphelile, because babayekile u-operator then iyabhatala. i-retrenchment protection yona xa uyifumana kwi-insurer uyifumana ibhatala for i-period encinanani because bafuna uphindele emsebenzini awufuni uba umntu ahlale angaphindele emsebenzini so isebenziswa kanjalo ke ngoyona.
Okay. All right, Tom, I'm very interested in knowing since when Avele that came up with the different types of lama cover. Maybe take us through ukuthi what are the different options that are available for abantu abafuna ukuthi bathathe lokhuzana income protection cover.
When it comes to income benefits, Alicia, there's two types.
Yeah.
Like we said, some companies call it sickness benefits, some companies call it income protection, some companies call it salary protection, but those three all are covered in the same way. Covered in the same way that if you're unable to work for a certain period of time due to a sickness or a disability, then the insurer would pay you your income, provided that you don't have additional cover with another insurer, because there are those insurers that would aggregate. So if you sort of can't have two covers with, on yourself. So if you are getting paid from the one, they might aggregate. But again, different insurers, there are those that don't aggregate. They wouldn't care if you're still earning an income at work. They'll still pay you based on what you are covered for. And generally that will form under what we say the sickness benefits. But just lastly, what's important to note is that there are two components to it. Sickness, income protection, salary pays for a 24-month period. It's meant to cover you temporarily. Should you become permanently disabled, there's another benefit that would kick in, which will be called a permanent incapacity benefit or permanent income protection. And that benefit would cover you up till your retirement age of 60 or 75. The reason being is that you're unable to work, you can't earn an income, you don't want to earn a government grant, for say. So the income protection benefit would now replace your income should one of those events occur.
Very interesting. Ayike Mbukeli uyezwa ke lapho ukuthi ziningi ngempela izindlela zokuthi uyazi lento, but we're going to give you more detail as we continue with the show. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ingcingo zethu ayikakasebenzi okwamanje, but you can send us your email to consumer@sabc.co.za noma usithinte lapha ku Facebook as well as on Twitter. Umajali will be back shortly after this break. Reminder. Welcome back. Ubheke Yilungelo Lakho la kumamba phambili SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Today sikhuluma nge-income protection cover ke okuwumshwalensi ke Mbukeli okugadayo ukuthi uma wena ungakwazi ukusebenza mhlambe ngabe accident noma ngabe yini izokwazi ukuthi iqhubeke ikukhokhele so that uzokwazi ukuthi ubuqhubeka ukhokhela izikweletu zakho. My guest today Gcina Betela who's the CFO at Absa Life, alongside Tom Mchunu who's the founder of Afrimed Wealth, as well as Miss Yvonne Barnard-Theron, who's the Assistant Ombudsman for Long-Term Insurance, and she's joining us from Cape Town. Now, Yvonne, I mean, let's talk about, maybe let's go back to the basics. Where are these insurance, where is this income protection cover offered? Do you go to long-term insurance or short-term insurers?
So income protection would be long-term insurance. So you'd go to one of your big insurance companies. They usually sell it. You can have it separately if it's pure disability or critical illness. They usually offer it together with life cover. One of the additional benefits that some insurers offer is a salary protector. They call them rider benefits, where they would cover your salary in the case of you becoming retrenched. It's a very strict definition though, so that it's not as wide as, for example, credit life insurance would be with the loss of income claim. Those retrenchment rider benefits are very, very limited. They will only pay out for a certain amount for a certain period of time under very strict circumstances. But your disability benefits, your critical illness benefits, they are provided by basically everybody. And it's in the event that you either become disabled due to an injury or disease, or you qualify for a critical illness benefit. There's a illness that you got cancer or had a stroke, and in certain circumstances that benefit will pay out as well.
All right. And then apparently, Yvonne, apparently when you actually inquire about it, it's not termed as income protection cover when you want to take it out by the creditors. How is it termed? And then, I mean, if people don't know the proper term for it, the terminology, then how do we even know that it's there and it exists?
I think the confusion comes in, so it's called disability cover.
Okay.
I think one of the insurers used that term as one of their products, and that's maybe where the confusion arises because they call their disability benefits income protector. But in the market, we refer to it as disability benefits or critical illness benefits. You also get a functional impairment, but that kind of falls with disability. The basics is that if you are in an accident, you had an injury, you become so ill that you cannot, for medical reasons, you can no longer do your work, that's when those benefits pay out. So that's why it's completely different from retrenchment cover. Retrenchment's got nothing to do with a medical condition.
Okay.
It is an employment issue. So that's why there's that distinction. I think before the new Insurance Act came out, you could buy retrenchment cover separately, but since I want to say 2018, it's supposed to be a rider benefit, an additional benefit that you get, but you shouldn't be able to. I mean, Tom, you would probably be better suited to answer that question, but I don't think that you are able to get standalone retrenchment cover or salary protectors anymore. But disability cover you can definitely get by itself.
Very interesting. Maybe Tom uzongena lapho. I just want to quickly give out a number to our viewers. My studio lines are currently not working, but ngicela ningifonele kule number 060-844-9857. That number again 060-844-9857. Let me give it to you one more time. 060-844-9857. Nansi ikhona lapho ku screen, and then sizobe sesixoxa ukuthi wena wazini ngale income protection cover. So Tom, why ibizwa disability? Because I'm sure umuntu is going to think this is something completely different, and it makes no mention engqondweni muthi disability cover ukuthi this will actually cover my income.
I think insurance companies they are differential his definition maningi izigama ezinikayo.
Yeah.
Kodwa into abafuna uyenza nyani is bafuna babhatale xa ungakwazi usebenza.
Yes.
Uyibiza disability. I-disability yenye zesizathu ungayifumana i-income protection, ibhatala income protection yakho. I-retrenchment nayo yenye yezinto ongayenzeka. But as I tell you, Yvonne, ngoku i-retrenchment cover abayithengisi nje as into ezimele ngokwayo. Ihamba ne-life policy. Ibe enye isizathu i-life insurance company izawubhatala xa uphelelwe umsebenzi ungakwazi usebenza.
Okay.
Kodwa ke igama eliqhelekileyo and efuneka silazi thina ziba elicoverisha zonke lento siyithetha namhlanje, income protection. Ezinye ke ezinto sithetha ngazo ze-disability ne-retrenchments zizinto xa ukhethe ipolicy yakho ungacela ukuba xa niretrenchiwe cela nini-coverage for i-retrenchment, cela nini-coverage for i-disability okanye cela nini-coverage uba xa ngakwazi usebenza because le ndawo ndisebenza kakho kuphele umsebenzi.
So basically, Tom, kunabantu that are sitting there with a disability cover, but they're not aware ukuthi it actually covers income yabo.
Definitely, Alicia, but you know, the disability cover within our industry.
Who's misleading? Isn't that like, I don't know, is there a misinterpretation or something? Like, why can't it just be called income protection cover?
I think that comes from the insurance companies. What I've noted is that insurance sort of try to differentiate themselves by calling the benefits different things. And that's from my personal experience, from what I've seen with the various companies. So, you know, it's the same, it works more or less the same. Again, there are different levels of comprehensiveness that you can add onto the product, but ultimately it's the same product. I think more on the insurer's side, which is why I think if you're consulting with an advisor, a qualified advisor, professional advisor, they would always be the best person to give you the best advice in terms of what one would be looking for when it comes to that sort of benefits.
Very interesting, because I know abantu bakithi abathanda ukuthi ngezinye izikhathi sifunde silalele futhi ukuthi yini le esisayinayo. So probably mhlambe wena all along you've had ilokhuzana i-salary protection cover kanti ubungazi nokuthi naye ake siphinde awuhambe nje uyovula lapho i-contract yakho. Mina ngisathatha ikhefu siyabuya emva kweyitolo. Okay, welcome back. We are talking salary or income protection cover insurance ke enza sure ukuthi wena mungakwazi ukusebenza mhlambe isimo mhlambe uyagula mhlambe nje uphelele umsebenzi ikwazi ukuthi iqhubeke ikukhokhele. Ungasifonela studio 060 844 9857. That number again 060 844 9857. My studio lines are still down, but sizoke sitholane kulo line. My guest today Gcina Betela, CFO at Absa Life, alongside Tom Mchunu, who is from Afrimed Wealth, as well as Ms. Yvonne Barnard-Theron. She's the Assistant Ombud for Long-Term Insurance. She's joining us from our Cape Town studios. All right, let's go to the callers. Mam Dube Mthatha, sakwamukela mam. Molweni mama.
Molo sisi.
Molo mama. Singakunceda njani namhlanje?
Ninganceda ngohlobo loba ndifuna ukwazi into ubana xa sowuvele ke nguna-ke sone-disability wawungazange wazi le-income protection ungaba sayithatha at that point.
Okay, so awusaphangeli kwangoku ne mama?
Hayi andisaphangeli.
Oh, okay, but ubungenayo ipolicy ene-disability ne? Ene-disability cover?
Kaloku Gcina basishumayeza late ngoku.
Oh, okay. All right ke mama, ngicela umamele apho sive uba singakunceda njani. But Gcina, is it possible for her to, she's already not working, to go then get a salary protection cover, even though she's not working due to her being sick already?
Alisha ngaba nzima ngoba income protection
Idinga isalary.
Iba ube nayo into isalary imali oyiholayo. Noma wenza ibusiness yakho okanye wenza isalary okanye kwi-contract ifuneka ube nayo into oyenzayo. If uma ngaphindela emsebenzini okanye aziqalele ibusiness yakhe ungaya kwi-insurance company uyicele i-income protection. Abacacisele ukuba yena unayo le-disability ne. And uzawukwazi ukuba if angaphinde yenzeke into ukuba aphelele umsebenzi xa emfuna umsebenzi wayithathe le covers sibhatale. Kodwa even if angaphinda wenzakale, as long as it's ayilo le disability senayo ngoku, i-insurance company ingamcoverishe ngoku imbhatala, but kuzafuneka benayo qala umsebenzi because i-income protection yona yenzelwe abantu abasebenawo umsebenzi.
But I mean, she also mentions the fact that she found out very late about amalokuzana ama options akhe ukuthi she can actually get inansika i-disability cover. How do we then encourage people and our viewers ukuthi they need to make sure ukuthi they find out about these things, because we cannot guarantee ukuba tomorrow you're going to be at work or you're going to be able to function enough to go to work?
Definitely ziyenze nathi, I think the insurance industry yonke siyenze lento yokuba sibaxelela abantu bazikhona as benefits. Abantu bona xa besiya ebhankini bayoboleka imali, i-credit life cover iyayinika i-income protection. Kufuneka xa beze ebhankini sibaxelela ukuba nansi i-credit life protection ubungazifumana kwi-situation ungakwazi usebenza okanye wenzakele ikhona yona. Nabantu nabo xa beyothatha i-policy for insurance because bacingele imideme zabo, funeka bathethe ne-financial advisor bathi enye into endiyoyikayo uba xa ngakwazi usebenza ngenye imini, and i-financial advisor izakuxelela ukuba funeka uyithathe ngoku i-income protection. And income protection zikhona zikwazi ukubhatala uduyo uthi uyoretire, especially uba wonzakela and azukwazi ukuphinda usebenze.
And wonzakele at work.
Uzabe noma usenzakele njani.
Oh, okay.
Cha kumele uba wena ungazenzanga wonzakele.
Oh, okay.
So it must not be you cause the
self-inflicted. Oh, okay.
As long as uba yenzeke i-accident, then iyakwazi ukuyicoverisha.
Okay. All right. Very interesting indeed. But Sithembiso ePretoria sakwamukela ohlelweni insizwa sicela usibuze umbuzo noma ubeke umbono. But Sithembiso.
Yebo Thamani.
Kunjani bhuti?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Ngiyaphila insizwa. Singakusiza kanjani namhlanje?
Bengithi ngicela ukubuza lapho kubhuti ukuthi njengoba ngumuntu osebenzayo kudinga inani mangifuna ukuthi ngiregister ku-income protection cover.
Okay. All right. Uyasebenza ngitho kwamanje bhuti?
Yebo ngiyasebenza.
Oh, awukakathathi i-insurance la bakuchazela ukuthi mhlawumbe uno disability cover izinto ezinjalo.
Yebo ngingayithatha ngoba uhlelo ngibhekile sengenza ukuthi hayi nami mangingangena kungenzeka mhlawumbe ukuthi ngaba uhlelo into right.
Okay, bhuti Sithembiso siyabonga kakhulu. Tom, uthi ulokhuzana ubhuti Sithembiso is working. He wants to take out a salary or income protection cover. Where does he go? What does he need? Who does he speak to?
The first point, I think, Alicia, would be possibly contacting an insurance company or ideally a financial advisor.
Okay.
It's the financial advisors that are generally geared to give financial advice and licensed to do so. So it would be a better option to either go into the insurance companies or to go directly through to a financial advisor. Important to note, though, is that it's not a benefit that is just available. There are strict requirements that have to be taken or met in order to qualify for the benefit. Underwriting, for example. So some companies might require an HIV test. If you've got pre-existing medical conditions, some companies might choose not to cover you at all because you're seen as a high risk. So again, there's a whole lot more, and that is the same information a broker or financial advisor would be able to give in detail when it comes to how the products would work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically they need to just find out before they go to actually get ilokhuzana insurance. Okay, but Sithembiso uyasho ke ubhucina lapho ukuthi ungabe ubuza ungaya kuma office lawa adayisa ngomshwalense ufike ubabuza ukuthi kahle kahle ipolicy yakho uma ufuna ukuyithatha izosebenza kanjani yini mhlambe wena ongayidinga uyasho ukuthi ke as per ama company njengoba behlukene banemithetho ehlukene, so therefore you might need to do specific things ukuthi ukuze uqualify. All right, what are other things that somebody might need to qualify in order to qualify besides obviously your ilokhuzana, your medical test?
I would say job description, like we mentioned earlier. There's certain occupations.
Is age a factor in
Definitely.
these?
Income protection is one of the most expensive benefits because it's the most claimed benefit.
Okay.
So age does definitely play a part. There are some insurers that won't cover you if you're after the age of 65.
Oh, wow.
There are some that stop it at the age of 65, and there are some that would pay you for whole of life. Again, different insurance companies, because it's a competitive environment, they all structure it differently. So it will always be advisable that one chats to various companies before a decision is made. It's sort of like getting quotations so that you can understand and ask the specific questions related to each company's product.
Washo ke omunye umvakashi wethu wathi kumele kube beauty contest lento, awudate the first person ohlangana naye. You must just have ama choices uqale wenze research yakho wenze sure ukuthi wena le cover ofuna ukuyithatha is going to work best for wena. We're coming back shortly after this break. Mbukeli 0608449857. That number again 0608449857. We're back shortly after this. Welcome back. We are discussing our income protection covers. Akusizayo ke wena uma kuukuthi awukhoni ukuthi usebenze ngenxa yokuthi mhlawumbe ulimele noma uyagula noma uphelelwe umsebenzi, but kuno but la kuthiwa uphelele umsebenzi, because then kumele ku-apply ukuthi uluze kanjani lowo msebenzi, uresignile, uretrenchiwe noma kwenzeke kanjani. All right, ungasifonela la e-studio 0608449857 0608449857. Ama-guest ami ubhuti Gcina Betela ovela e-Absa Life, ubhuti Tom Mchunu from Afrimed Wealth, as well as Miss Yvonne Barnard-Theron, who's the Assistant Ombudsman for Long-Term Insurance. She's joining us from Cape Town. Yvonne, maybe let's come back to you. I mean, talk to us about some of the most common complaints that you receive as the Office of the Long-Term Insurance Ombuds.
Across the board, with
Yes.
the claims are declined.
Yes.
So regardless whether they're disability or critical illness, or
Well,
even
maybe just give
some
us
credit life insurance
examples.
policies as well.
Yeah, maybe just give us examples of each, Yvonne. The most common
Okay, so
complaints.
let's say, for example, okay, let's use disability cover. Let's say, for example, you are a typist. You sit in front of a computer the whole day. You are in an accident and your foot had to be amputated. So technically you are disabled, but when you lodged a claim for a disability benefit, your claim was declined. What the reason usually would be is because even though you lost your foot, you are still able to sit in front of a computer, you're still able to type, so you're still able to do your job. I think that's where a lot of confusion sometimes comes in, just because as the public would consider a condition a disability, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are no longer able to do your job. If, for example, your job was you're a ballet dancer, but your foot was amputated, obviously then you would no longer be able to do your job, so you would be able to claim a disability benefit. For critical illness, the types of claims we see declined is somebody is diagnosed with cancer or they had a heart attack, but when they lodge the claim, it doesn't get paid. Now, the reason for that usually is that there are different severity levels. So an insurer would, for example, look at cancer. If it's like a stage 1, it hasn't spread, you would either not get a payout or you'd get a much lower payout, as opposed to stage 4 cancer, this is serious, it's spread, you would get the full benefit or a much higher percentage of that. Those are the main kinds of complaints that we see. People think that they qualify for a benefit, and the insurer is of the view that they don't, but that's where our office comes in and we investigate those claims and we will make a ruling either way.
All right, very interesting. And speaking galama qualifications, Tom, let's talk about ama exclusions. Where would then umuntu, for example, njengoba ama examples ulokhuzana Yvonne aqeda ukwabeka, besides those ones, where would other exclusions then be granted kumuntu ukuthi angakwazi ukuthi athole cover yakhe or a payout?
I think one of the ones that could be is a member took up, like the example Yvonne gave. I was an admin and I had the benefits. So admin is generally considered a low-risk job.
Yeah.
And over the last 2 or 3 years, I moved over and I went into, for example, construction, which would be seen as a high-risk job. So the onus is on the policyholder to notify the insurer or the financial advisor of any change in occupation. And if one were to change their occupation without notifying the insurer or financial advisor where that information is updated, that would qualify for a reason not for a claim to be paid, especially if a person was injured, for example, on the construction site where they had changed their jobs too.
And then, but Tom, maybe zoyithatha icover, because I'm just wondering if umuntu kuzomela zahamba e-office le-ombud because they've been excluded or i-claim yabo is not been processed or declined based on whatever reasons. Do they actually explain to our consumers when they take these covers? Like, I mean, she gave a perfect example of ilokhuzana, the ballerina's foot, and umuntu o amputetwe umlenze, but they're still working behind a computer.
Well, I would say the onus is on the financial advisor to make sure that he advises his clients. We have to issue out a record of advice stating, you know, the conversations that we would have had with the clients. However, with one of them that Yvonne mentioned, there are rider benefits that could be added onto a policy, but anything added extra would cost more. So there are those sort of situations that would occur.
All right. And then, but Gcina, ikhona any limit to a number of income policies that a consumer can take ukuthi enze sure ukuthi they are just covered all around so that omunye menqaba ukhokha at least uzoba with another option?
Ayikho limit.
Okay.
Kodwa xa ucinga uba yenza ntoni income protection. Ifuna uprotect le salary yakho. So awunokwazi ube nayo i-protection xa sizithatha zonke sizibeka sizidibanisa.
Okay.
Kufuneka ingayodluli le mali uyifumanayo emsebenzini wakho. Because xa siyenza loo nto umuntu simnika umuntu isizathu uba athathe ipolicy and then afumane indlela yokuba afumane imali more than laa nto ayirholayo emsebenzini. So kufuneka ibe ungazithatha noba zibe ngaphi but kufuneka xa uzidibanisa kufuneka zinga-exceed umrholo wakho nesalary yakho.
Oh, okay. So you can have multiple and they... Okay, so they won't, I mean, we're talking about an unrelated issue. Ukuthi, when you have amalukos and ama policies like maybe for death covers and stuff like that, you can have multiple, but kuthiwa khokha eyodwa. So it's nothing like that.
No, but you know, so what they will do is that if unazo zininzi and they exceed, abazubhatala la amount bakushore ngayo.
Okay.
Bazobhatala la proportion yabo okanye le percentage yabo and then xa uzi-edisha zonke uzawufumana ngokuba izawunika isalary yakho.
Okay.
And ingxaki kuloo nto ukuba wena ubhatalele zonke ezi kampani.
That's what I'm thinking.
So kufuneka wena ube sure uba uthathe icover noba uthathe icover as more than one.
Yeah.
But kufuneka xa uzidibanisa zonke zingabi more than isalary yakho okanye le-income oyifumanayo.
Very interesting. Maybe Tom usitshele mhlambe nje ngezinto like abantu abazi-experience are related to email practice kuma insurance companies, particularly when it comes to ukuthi ba-disclose ukuthi what that policy will actually do for the consumer.
So when it comes to the income protection benefit, Alicia, when it comes to the benefit itself, like the advisor is fully responsible for the advice that they get. So that's why there are certain procedures that are set out by various legislation in terms of how we, as financial advisors, ought to conduct ourselves, even when it comes to the advice that we give. We can hold you
liable for that.
100%. A claim could be lodged against me if for some reason I didn't disclose or I didn't offer you the benefit, but I've offered you all the other types of benefits, and that's where the record of advice would come into.
Very interesting indeed. Uyazwa-ke mbukeli kuthiwa njengoba wenza le beauty contest ukuthi ucheck ukuthi wena uhamba nabani, also make sure ukuthi uyawazi ama-details aloyo muntu so that if ever in any eventuality or event uyithola ukuthi usuthole ngathi cha wena le information abakunikeza yona mhlawumbe ayikho noma abazange bakunikeze the proper information, you can actually go uthathe izinyathelo against them. Uzositshela uTom ukuthi where do you take them, but I suppose ubayisa nakwilokhuzana kwi-Ombudsman. We're back shortly after this break. Mbukeli ungayindawo. Welcome back. We are still discussing topic yethu yokuthi wena ke uyithola kanjani into ebizwa i-income protection cover ekwazi ukukusiza phela ukuthi ikhokhe i-income yakho, isalary yakho uma ngabe wena usuyithola ungasakwazi ukusebenza for various reasons. All right, ungasifonela la e-studio njengobut Maxim ose PE. But Maxim, welcome to the show. Singakusiza kanjani namhlanje bhuti wami, singakunceda kanjani?
Yes.
Ewe bhuti.
Yes, ma'am. Benifuna ukuqonda kule financial advisor into ba i-good kangakanani le policy because ndinemoto entsha yaphaka after 2023, but when it comes into ba ndingabi nayo i-income ubugood bayo bukangakanani to assist me kwi-payments zemoto.
Okay, all right. Do you quickly want to answer that, but Tom?
Alicia, the gentleman's asking about if he becomes disabled whilst paying for the car. So there are benefits that are offered that would fall under the credit life, I would say. And generally those benefits are not underwritten, so you don't have to do bloods. And they generally are offered by banks when you're purchasing the car. Together with the scratch and dent cover, they would also make that offer to you. You're not compelled to take the benefit. Again, as a client, you have a choice as to whether or not you want to. It does come at a price, so that in the event of you being unable to work due to a disability, that product that you would have taken would basically cover the debt of the car. So you will no longer owe the bank anything, provided you've got that specific benefit.
So basically, Gcina, uthi if uthatha le cover, angithi le income cover. Mina, this is how I'm understanding it. Asincede no but Maxim. If une income cover, right, that income imoto yakho idebitwa from that income, right? So basically it does assist you kwi-lokhuzana, and I think to put it in layman terms.
So xa uthenga imoto ngeloan yebhanki,
yes,
kumele uba ibhanki ithi uba uyayifuna nayo i-credit life.
Yes.
And i-credit life yona ke into efuneka iyenze is uba kule situation ethetha ngayo uba angayeki usebenza kuba udisable akanayo kwezosebenza izawubhatala i-installment yakhe kwimoto yakhe.
Oh, so it's separate from salary protection cover.
Yona izawubhatala. And I think imbuzo wakhe bezama uqonda loo nto kuba xa ndingakwazi usebenza and ndingakwazi ubhatala i-installment yami imoto yami because afuna uyilahla imoto. So into i-credit life cover izawubhatala i-installment zakhe until akwazi ukuba aqala aphinde usebenze.
What if engayithathanga i-credit insurance?
Kaloku uba unayo i-credit insurance yile nto sizama uyenza ke thina as i-insurance industry uba sikunceda uba uba unayo le nto kuzawufuneka ukuba ufumane enye indlela ubhatala i-installment yakho. Uba ukwazi kuzawufuneka uxoxe nebhanki uba uzawuthini. Kodwa i-credit life cover ikhavarisha ukuba if awukwazi usebenza izawubhatala i-installment yakho, if uretrenchwe izawukwenza njalo, and if ungafa before uyigqibe isikoloto sakho bazawuyisetlisha nebhanki ifamily yakho ingahlali nala sikoloto.
Very interesting indeed. I hope it makes him usizakeleke lapho nsizwa bayasho ukuthi ya khona into ekuthiwa credit insurance lo itholayo uma ungabe uthenga imoto. I'm sure ikhona lapho kwi-contract nami nginayo ngayibona impela futhi bayayichaza ke because basuke benza sure ukuthi in the event yokuthi awusakhona ukuthi uqhubeke usebenze uzokhona ukuthi uqhubeke ukhokhelwe, but ke uyasho uButhom ukuthi if kukuthi nesalary yakho iyangena imoto yakho ediductwa khona shuthi nakhona ungasizakala. All right, Yvonne, maybe let's come to you. How soon should then a consumer lodge their complaint at your office after their claim has been rejected or declined? And what is the process of lodging that complaint with your office?
Well, I mean, insurers usually have an escalation process. So if you lodge a claim and it is declined, you can ask for that decision to be reviewed. If that review, they still want to decline the claim, then come to us as soon as possible. It can be lodged in many ways. You can do it telephonically, via email. You can go to our website. There's a process to do it on our website, and we can get the ball rolling.
All right. Okay. But Tom, for consumers, and I know you mentioned this when we started the show, I wanted to wait for the right and opportune moment to follow up on your statement. You said ilokhuzana salary income protection cover is quite expensive. Why is it expensive? And I mean, it seems like abantu also are of the view yokuthi it's expensive, which is why a lot of people don't even know about it, don't even inquire about it. Messity expensive, but then it's a need or a necessity. Risk.
I think the reason it's expensive is because it's a highly claimed benefit. Income protection can cover various events. Sickness can cause you not to go to work and your income could be affected. A person could break their right leg and their job doesn't allow them to be on work with the cost. So that depends also on the circumstances when it comes to the claims.
All right. And asikhulume ngama benefits Gcina, imaphi ama benefits ukuthi umuntu ahambe if ama consumers are watching right now. What are some of the benefits esaziwa besides ukuthi obviously you have that bit of peace of mind ukuthi should anything happen to you, but what are the other added benefits zokuthatha ilokhuzana income protection cover?
I think the main benefit here is why it's peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Nearly peace of mind. Kodwa yona as a benefit insure ukuba noba uzifumana kwingxaki emsebenzini okanye xa usenza umsebenzi wakho okanye une-business oyiranayo uyazi ukuba ikhona le nto ezakwazi ukusupporta ikuncede and nayo especially with these zinto esithetha ngayo nge-credit life cover into ongayifuni uba ungakwazi ukubhatala izikoloto zakho ezo zinto zawafektha ne-credit records zakho ne-ability uba uphinde uyokwazi uthatha enye loan nebhanki. So ezinye ii-benefits yiloo nto ukuba and ngamanye amaxesha nyhani into eyenzekayo ukuba awukwazi usebenza for ixesha elincane and i-credit life cover i-income protection i-ensure uba ubomi bakho ungaqhubeka until ukwazi uphinde ufumane umsebenzi. So inika ezo benefits.
So basically you'd recommend it as a necessity for umuntu osebenzayo to have this thing even though iyabiza. And masithi iyabiza, like give us a figure. How much is it?
Nah, andinokwazi ukutsho.
You can't give us a figure. Like even a rounded off figure. Just
ngoba it depends uba sicover umrholo ongakanani.
Oh, I see. So it depends on the salary that you're covering.
And in a loan oyithatha nebhanki it depends ukuba ingakanani.
Okay.
Oh,
I see. You're just running away from ama numbers. Awufuni ukuskerisha ama viewers. Okay, so Yvonne, maybe what should consumers then look out for in these types of policies? I mean, let's talk about things like definition, your waiting periods, as well as exclusions that we spoke about earlier.
Okay, so I think the most important thing to look out for is what exactly you are covered for. I think read your policy very carefully to see exactly how far your cover extends. Will it only cover you for 24 months? Will it cover you until the resignation age, which is usually about 65? That is the most important one. I would also say that if you go for underwriting, because you get individual life policies and then you get group life policies. So individual life policies, you'll usually go for underwriting. That's where they ask you a number of medical questions, and depending on that, they might either make your premium a bit more expensive. So let's say, for example, you have diabetes and hypertension. They might make your premium a bit higher, or they might put an exclusion on. So understand exactly what your exclusion is. So an exclusion is, let's say you have a pre-existing condition or medical history of back problems. So the insurer will say, we will cover you, but if your disability is caused by your back problems, we're not going to pay for that.
Okay.
Understand the waiting periods. It's usually 7 days, 30 days, 90 days.
All right.
And speak to your insurer, make sure you get communication from them regularly. If you don't get it from them, call them, email them, ask them for an update.
Okay.
And also, another thing that maybe to consider is that
very quickly,
have your benefit increased, every few years or so. As our salaries go up, you might want your income to also, your benefit to also go up.
All right, Yvonne, we're going to leave it there. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll put Gcina Betela from Absa Life. We'll put Tom Mchunu from Afrimed Wealth, as well as Ms. Yvonne Barnard-Theron, Assistant Ombudsman, Office Long-Term Ombud, Office Cape Town. Well, that's where we leave it for today's program. Thank you so much for your calls and participation here. And thank you so much. We'll see you next week with another live consumer affairs discussion from me, Umajali, and the rest of the team and crew and my guests. Sale kahle.
Mnganwa